Yay. Okay. If you have any props, as you can see in our yin practice, we use props. I have here some blocks and some straps if you want to use them. Here at the community center as well, if you want to bring a pillow, or so as you can see, I've got a block meditation pillow. You can use a strap. If you don't have a strap, you can take any, from your garment, like anything like that. You can also do the full practice without props. It's not a problem because I'll give different options. Instead of the bolster, which is that big sausage, you can also take 2 beach towels, for example, and roll them up. Yeah, exactly. Nice, Ini. You've got your props there as well. But every time I give a pose, I will give you an option without props as well. So, you can do the practice without. Another nice thing to do is to take 2 pillows and put them in one pillowcase. That also gives you a nice bolster, semi-bolster pillow vibe. So let me mute you, and then if there's anything ever, you just let me know. You raise your hands or unmute yourself. Oh, there's Dave. All right. So our yin practice is the yin and the yang. So the yin is really very much in cultivating the being, the calming down, headache, the grounding, and that's why we also practice this kind of towards the end of the week when we've already been, maybe challenged or we've had some, yeah, we just have some things to integrate. So we can just, it does mean we hold shapes for longer, mostly 5 minutes per shape. And that means there might be an edge. And that edge might be physical, where you're like, oh, wow, this is quite strong. You can move out anytime. Or then it can be mental. Just, sitting still can be like, can get itchy feet. And we use the breath. All right, but let's first come to his feet. I've got an extra prop today. Mr. Warm water bottle. I get so cold so quickly. It's going to be my little baby during the practice. Come and in a nice, comfortable seat. And just close your eyes for a moment. Take a deep breath in and notice how the chest expands. And then a sigh out of the mouth. It can be with or without sound. Slow breath into the nose. Open the mouth and let the air escape. 2 more rounds. With every sigh, just letting the day slide off you. 1 more time. Now in yin yoga, you can breathe in through the nose and out of the mouth. Little sighs are always welcome, specifically when you meet an edge. It can just take the pressure off. And with a change of season here in South Africa, the temperature being different, it's almost different every day. Today's practice is very much a boost of your immune system as well as a grounding and calming of your central nervous system. Working in your lymphatic, so really just giving you a boost because there are some snotty people around and that's okay, it's part of life, but we can do everything we can, or we'll try everything we can to support our body in fighting any viruses or any threats that are around, let's call it like that. Also drinking lots of herbal teas, water, that helps, but this practice will also support. Breathing, slow and deep. Breathing in Sanskrit is prana yama. Prana means life force. So if we cultivate a relationship with our breath, we can help ourselves to enhance the quality of our life, enhance the quality of prana. Take a couple more rounds of breath, and maybe you have a specific intention or dedication. An intention is inviting something towards yourself. A dedication is offering your energy or an intention up to someone else. And then bring your hands in front of the heart. A precious moment for you to be mindful, to bring the intention or dedication into the mind and the heart. And then bow your head towards your fingertips to seal that in. We'll start in Supta Baddha Konasana, which is also a back bend. Now, the first option without any props is to simply come onto your back with butterfly legs. Soles of the feet to touch, and then you can just lie back. So if you have no props, that is a nice option. The props are, the way to use your props is, for example, a bolster underneath your spine in this direction, along the spine, or in the other direction, and then it's under your heart, under your chest. Just make sure I can feel that my head is going to fall, that your head doesn't hang, but it's supported by something. The arms can be on the front or just over your bolster. Another thing which you could do, it depends on your hips. So if your hips are really struggling here to relax, the first thing you can do is to bring the feet a little further away. Give it some space, or to prop up the back of your knee. So bring something, 2 pillows, 1 pillow on each side, on the outside of the knee, so there's a bit of support. So we aim here to relax. So find your shape. Supta Baddha Konasana, so butterfly legs, soles of the feet to touch, knees wide. Yeah, blankets are also nice, actually. I see some lovely blankets there. If there's something underneath your chest, it's under your heart rather than under your lower back. They just bring your soles of the feet to touch, so it's symmetrical. Yeah, very nice. And then turn the palms to face up. Edna as well, Edina as well, turn the palms up. A gesture of being open to receive. And I'll be your timekeeper. So the nice thing is, I thought of your clock, Imi. Ingrid, my friend that's online, she had a clock that the clock just would not be on time. And then she changed the 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock to 3 o'clock and the 9 o'clock with stickers, and it just says now. So the time is always now. And I was actually thinking about it yesterday, and we don't have a clock in our house. It's quite nice. Because sometimes I'm like, I don't know what time it is. You can always check on your phone or on your computer, but to not constantly have a clock, so here you can also let go of the time. Just be here, know where to go, and now let's breathe. So breathe into the chest. And breathe out towards your abdominals and your belly button. Like a lake. As if the tummy is a lake, and you let the bottom of the lake soften towards the depth of your body, the depth of the lake. That's just a visualization. Relax your fingers. Just stay with your breath. Now, because we're holding this shape for longer, I was speaking about an edge, you might come across it quite quickly in certain shapes. You're like, whoa, already this is in a way challenging to be here. Not painful, but challenging. Then let the breath be there for you. And there will be other shapes that are easier. It just depends on where your body holds on. Sometimes it's the hips, often the hips or the shoulders that hold on to tension. The body keeps score of everything we've done and said and the emotions that we've deal with. So let everything just pass through you. There is no thought or emotion that is not allowed on your mat. You're just not reacting. You're just staying still and breathing. Now we're just going to be still, including myself, and I'll let you know when it's time to move again. Please do know that if it gets too much for whatever reason, and you can just slowly move out. There's no you have to here in yin. It's a challenging practice with an edge, but it's also kind. It's yoga, so there's no competition. There's a sense of softness and kindness. Stay with that breath into the chest, out towards the softness of your belly button, your abdominals, your digestive organs. Take 2 more rounds of breath here. Deep breath into the chest. Maybe a sigh knowing that this shape is almost done and we're slowly transitioning. So because the deep connective tissue is relaxed, we'll move slow. Takes a while to get into this state of relaxation. So also take it slow to come out. Probably bring your knees up first, soles of the feet flat to the floor. You can bring your hands behind your head and bring your chin towards your chest, round into the spine. And then you roll onto a side. Now in the next shape, you may use a bolster. So we're going to lie in a lateral stretch on the right side of the body. Your right elbow is underneath your shoulder. If you have shoulder issues, you can also take a more relaxed shape, or even, this is just for people with shoulder issues, just come and lie onto the bolster with something under your head. That's to relax the shoulder. If you're fine with your shoulder, then you bring the elbow underneath the shoulder. Your legs can be on top of each other, one leg can be a little bit bent, both legs can be bent. That's not really important. And then you just open up into the right side of the body, lateral stretch. You can use a pillow here. Yeah. So bring your shoulder a little, your elbow a little bit backwards, and your bolster closer in. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Under your rib cage. Good. And then we stay and breathe. Now our shoulder, if you are leaning onto that right shoulder, might get tired at some stage, so then you can take that other option. You will probably move your bolster a little bit in towards your hips and then lie down. You can close your eyes. Breathe. So anything that is related to your shoulders, to your chest, it's related to your lungs. So with this flu and going around and lots of people sneezing, it's good. Breathe to keep everything open, to stretch those lungs. Twists are very good for your detoxification. In inversion, anything where you turn your body upside down, legs higher than heart higher than head, which can be just a slight tilt, is also very good for your immune system, boosting the immune system. Your vagus nerve is upside down, the digestive system is upside down. But here we're working into the lungs, into the shoulder. Focus on the breath, slow it down into the nose. Maybe out through the mouth, very nice. And the nicest thing is actually to close your eyes. Now that you're here, you don't have to move for, excuse me, for a while. Excuse me. You don't have to move for a while. You can just close your eyes and go inward, leaving the outer world to be. The planets will keep turning. Cars will be driving. The weather will go. The sun is starting to slowly set. That's all continuing. But for now, we're just here with our body, with our breath. Taking a pause from external distractions. Focusing on you for just an hour. A couple more rounds of breath here, 4, 5 rounds of breath. Like that. Take a deep breath in. And then slowly lift yourself up sideways. And we'll come to child's pose. So you can come onto your knees. Create some space. Bring your knees nice and wide. If it's too much for your hips to be close to your heels, you can always put something behind it. Or you can even put your bolster underneath yourself like this or like that. I'm going to go for no props at all for now. Yeah, that feels good. My water bottle will create some peace. Opening into the hip. Now, child's pose is energetically a very safe pose because we are close to the floor. We don't look up, so our heart, the front of the heart is protected, our organs are protected. So often we feel quite safe here. It's also called child's pose because I think as a child, it's also a position you take a lot. And then you can ask yourself the question, is this shape is more challenging for your hips or more challenging for your shoulders? Some people, just the fact that the arms are forward, reaching forward, the shoulders start to talk. Now, whether it's the shoulders, the hips, or both, or none, Breathe towards the place where you feel most resistance. If your head is floating off the floor, put something under. So if you feel that your head cannot touch the floor, place something under your head so your head can relax. Because as soon as your head relaxes, the skull is supported, the brain can relax, the neck can relax, your face can relax, the tongue inside your mouth can relax. And here it is lovely and quite relatively easy to breathe slow and deep, and notice how your chest fills up, the ribs of the rib cage expand. They move towards the legs, and then you can pull the navel slightly in without forcing it. Just you can feel and direct the breath, the exhale and the hollowing, and the slight hollowing of your tummy. Or a nice and that softens the whole body, almost like you're sinking deeper into the mat. As if your body gets heavier with every exhale. Committing to being still. Practicing being comfortable with being still. Not very common in our busy lives. Remember, you can come out if it gets too much, whether that's for physical, mental, emotional reasons. That's okay. Just notice the edge and either use the breath to stay or back off. So in our vinyasa or more yan-orientated practices, when we meet an edge, we make a decision to back off or to break through the edge. In our yin practice, we don't break through, we don't actively do anything. We can use the breath just to see if we can sustain a little longer. But there's no forcing or breaking through of anything. Well, you are actually by staying still. But it's very, very non-aggressive. You've got around 12-ish breaths to go. Notice if you're maybe clenching your teeth. Sometimes when we stay just a couple more breaths than what our mind is telling us, if the edge is there, sometimes we clench our teeth. So just make sure that your jaw is relaxed, that your nose is free so you can breathe. Very meditative practice as well. All right, slowly lift your chest and then come onto your tummy for a rebound. So slowly lift up, just come onto your belly. You can create a pillow with your hands. The rebound is quite short. So you just lie still and allow the muscles to refine or just reintegrate. Notice any interesting sensations. I feel a tinkling in the soles of my feet. That might be because of a slight blood restriction because of the child's pose where the hips and the joints are bent. There's the weight of the hips on the heels. And when the blood starts to flush through the body again freely, you might feel that. Some people do, some people don't. And do practice some belly breaths here. So you feel how the belly is in contact with the mat. We are living in a society where we need to have, it's considered aesthetically nicer to have a flat tummy. So letting the belly come out is not something we do often. We often pull it in. So here, nobody can see it anyways. It's in contact with the floor. Let your Buddha belly. So a nice belly. Fill it all, fill it up, fill it up, fill it up. If anybody would watch your body, they would probably just see a rising and falling of your lower back. Because you fill up the front like a balloon. There's also more space in the lower back. Take 3 more rounds of breath here. Four to 6 counts to breathe in, and your exhale can even be longer than your inhale. Also calming. Wonderful. Gently roll onto your, I'm gonna move, but you can just roll easily onto your left side. Take your prop. We do that side, the lateral stretch. So roll onto the left side this time. Make sure you've got enough space. Remember, you can come into the full variation where you roll, or not the full variation, but a variation that's softer on the shoulder with your head on the floor or on a block. This is one where your shoulder doesn't have to carry the weight of the body. Or you bring the elbow, so you bring the bolster or whatever prop you're using. If you're using a prop, maybe you're not using a prop, that's also fine. Yeah, that's it. Okay, let me put the clock on for us. Yeah, looking good. Let your day just slide away. Any worries or stress or anxiety, which is part of life. We can't, I mean, we are any, it's beautiful. I was listening to this podcast. It's the author that wrote the book Untethered Soul, I think the first book was. And now he's written a new one and it's called Untethered Living. So it's more practical in a sense. And I find when he talks, it's quite, he makes it quite down to earth in a way. There's the outer world and the inner world. So the first thing that you ask yourself is actually, hey, who is in there? And you're like, you mean who's in there? In like, who's in my mind? Who's in my heart? That's a spiritual question. To ask yourself, like, who's in there? Who's making decisions? Who's feeling that? Who's, you know, and we don't necessarily know the answer. But that allows us to recognize there's the outer world and the inner world. And there's a dance. There's an interaction of energy. So you can have an impact on your outer world to an extent. The people you spend time with, the movies you watch, the music you listen to, the books you read. So you can assist in that dance, in that interaction. And then you've got your own inner world, which has the mind and all the thoughts based on your conditioning, your experience, and the emotions. Now, the thoughts and the emotions constantly get influenced by the outer world. When something happens that upsets you or reminds you of something or triggers your very, very deep values, an emotion might come up, thoughts, memories. And he said it's actually okay when the mind and the heart, so when the mental world and the emotional world are a bit confused. It's an opportunity to learn. And I thought, oh, that's actually such a nice way to look at it. And also not to resist the confusion. To literally go, okay, my heart and my mind are struggling to agree. I feel something, I can't get my head around it, or I think so much of something and I don't know how I feel about it. That's actually an opportunity of growth. And then taking time to write down your thoughts, or you know, or doing yin yoga where everything also realigns, just because you pause, or a walk in nature, all these things add for you to have a calm outer world in that moment. So you can start to align and the pieces of the puzzle of your inner world start to connect more, make sense more, or feel more. Even sometimes on your mat, you might feel things that you were not allowed to feel just because you didn't have time or because you had to be there for someone else or you didn't have the opportunity to express a feeling or just for it to run through you. So these are beautiful ways of just being with yourself. Take 3 more rounds of breath here. And then slowly come up. I just want to give, actually, what am I going to do next? Yes, I want to give our shoulders a little bit of a break. So let's come onto our back. We'll come back to the shoulders in a bit. But first, let's come onto our back. Make sure you've got some space on the left side. Yeah. Onto your back, and you can figure 4 your left ankle on top of your right thigh. Now we're coming into our twist. And it's also a hip opener. So you can open the arm and then lift your knees and let them fall over towards the left side. Now there's different things you can choose to do here. If it pulls on the outside of the right knee, if that figure 4 doesn't work, just figure 4 and stack your knees. If you have a sensitive lower back, it's probably, but just test it out. Everybody's body is different. For me, it feels nice if I pull my knees higher up towards the left arm, higher up. But maybe for you it's lower down, but I feel that when it's lower down, there's more pull in the lower back. So just feel that. And then you've got an option to turn the nose towards the right side, and that extends the twist into the neck. At any stage, you can unhook your figure 4. That's just a bit of a stretch in the outer T-band of the right leg, a bit of an opening in the left hip. So we are really focusing on a twist here. Let the feet fall to the floor, Edina. Yeah, let your bottom foot. Yeah, as soon as your body touches the floor or the wall, then they can relax. They don't have to, the muscles don't have to be engaged. Option to place your left hand onto your tummy. And the touch of your hand connects you to your own self, to your body, and to your breath. So feel the breath underneath that left hand. Breathe deep and breathe slow. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Let your breath be your attention. You're paying attention to your breath. It's the dynamic part of this shape. The rest is passive. But there's stuff happening, don't you worry. Okay. Very nice, Yogi. Stay with your breath. Maybe remind yourself of your intention, or if you had a dedication. So a dedication can simply be just spending some time sending good energy to someone that's dear to you, maybe someone that's sick, someone that's going through some trouble. You're just wishing them well, or you can also use that mental space, the meditative space, to bring memories back in, memories of time you've passed with that person, things, projects that you have towards the future, just letting all the images flow through your head, through your heart. And often when you do that with a loved one, it just makes you feel lighter, supported, and loved. Grateful for that connection. Soften your toes. That will have a ripple effect in your ankles will relax, your calf, your shins, your knee joints, your thighs, your hip joints, your tummy, your spine. 2 more rounds of breath here. And come back to center. You can even just unfigure for your feet and bring your knees to center. Hug them in for a moment around the spine. You can, it's a little bit more active, but you can lift your nose. The nose comes closer to the knees. And then we'll do the other side. So you can opt to shimmy your body a little over to the left. So you stay on your mat, figure 4, your right ankle on top of the left thigh. Arms spread wide again, lift the knees, and then bring them up and over to the other side. Option to turn the nose towards the left. Or even an option to bring the right hand to your tummy. You can follow the breath. The rising and the falling of your belly, your chest, the filling up of the lungs, and the emptying of the lungs. If you're a person that gets distracted quite quickly, if you have plenty of ideas and it's challenging to calm down the mind, I'm one of those people. It helps me if I really want to just be with the breath to count my breath. So I really just count and count and count around 4 to 6 counts to breathe in. And then 6 to 8 counts to breathe out. Soften the jaw, the skin on your face. And remember, the sigh is always welcome. And if an edge presents itself where you're like, oh, I want to move, I'm getting restless here, it's okay. Observe it. Know that you can move, but it's a choice. You can also observe. I remember in the beginning when I was practicing yin, I would start to tap my fingers to the floor or fiddle with my nails, just because it was difficult for me to sit still. It was very, very uncomfortable for me. With the practice of yoga and yin and meditation, after years, I feel much more comfortable with it. And some people just naturally feel more comfortable with sitting still than others. And that's okay. You can just practice, observe, notice, breathe. Around 4 more rounds of breath here in your twist. Slowly unhook your figure 4. Bring everything back to center. And just place your feet flat onto the floor. You can lift your hips a bit and just lie here for 3, 4 rounds of breath. Another little rebound. Feeling, connecting with the hips, the spine, connecting with the breath. And asking your body like, hey, was that okay? Were you happy with that? The right and the left feel the same. Is my breath still here? Remind yourself of your intention of dedication. And then we roll onto our side, back onto our knees. We said we would come back to our shoulders just a little bit. So just see how you go. Into puppy's pose, Anahatasana. So Anahatasana, you actually come onto your knees. Your hips are above your knees. Yeah, exactly. And then you walk your hands forward. Now you can use something under your chest because that will, you know, the body weight, the upper body will lean a little bit on it. So there's less pressure into the shoulders. So you can put it under your chest. You don't have to. Again, you don't have to. Roll. Make sure your head is on the floor. I want to bring it a little bit higher. It's normal to take the first couple of breaths just to figure out, okay, where do I want my props? If you're using them, I want them just a little bit like, I like it. My prop is at the same level as my bra, actually. So if you, as a man, ever worn a heart rate meter, It's around that space. Before I had it above my breast, actually, it didn't feel too good. Oh, let me put the timer, otherwise we'll be here forever. Is that okay for you, Jeremy? For your shoulder? Yeah? Okay. Good, nice. Lovely, Adina. That's it, Ini. If you have sensitive knees, you can put some padding under the knees or even fold your mat double. Now, tell your shoulders to relax. Tell your shoulders to relax. It's quite a strong opening into the armpits, into the shoulder joints. Also relax your toes. If you feel your lower back, please come into child's pose instead. Because your chest is not completely, in touch with anything. Maybe there's a prop or maybe it's free floating. It's easier to breathe. So breathe slowly and deeply. Before I forget to tell you, it's in my mind now, this week was International Day of Yoga. It was on Tuesday, the 21st of June. Has been negotiated as the International Day of Yoga with the United Nations. So everywhere around the world, we celebrate the gift of yoga. And I use it to give back. So I organize a charity event. There's been really big events, and then we did online for 2 years. And this year was really not sure what to do, because when we had to start organizing, things were not as free as they're now. So we have a really small gathering, but we are also going to be live on the Instagram account Saturday at 9 o'clock. So if you want to practice for free or invite a friend, it's going to be extremely accessible practice, more a hatha style practice. So a wonderful opportunity maybe to, practice with us online, be part of the celebration, and maybe ask someone to join you. So 9 to 10:30ish. The Earth Child's Project Children, because we raise funds for that lovely NGO. Earth Child's Project brings yoga to kids in townships. They're also going to be doing something later, I think around 11 o'clock. I'm not sure if I'll be able to stream that, but I'll do my best, because I think they will sing and they might be doing some lovely yoga as well for us. So that's on the Instagram account, International Day of Yoga SA, South Africa SA. Saturday at 9. I'll teach the practice from around 9 to 10:30. So if it's rainy, you put the fire on. It's a protocol. Everybody practices the same shapes. Woo, yeah, I can feel my shoulders now. Oh, we're getting close to the end. Use your breath. Notice the edge. Breathe deep and slow. Sigh if you need to sigh. It's also a back bend, this one. And an inversion, because your hips are higher than your heart. And your heart is a little higher than your head. Maybe you feel it elsewhere, but I can feel it in my shoulders. Take a couple more rounds of breath. Gently, I feel I'm stuck almost. Bend your elbows, slide it a little bit backward. Coming to a kneeling position. And then we have two more shapes to go. The one shape is a leg up the wall, which is a awesome lymph drainage and shavasana. Now, leg up the wall, you can do freestyle, but here specifically at home and also in the space, if you want to move your mat to a door, please feel free to do so. I think I'm gonna go there, or anyone else can go there. I can use this. Yeah, I can use this. So feel free to, if you want it, so leg up the wall looks like this. You basically just have your legs up, but if your legs are supported by the wall, then they can really relax. But maybe you'll have to move your mat. If you move slowly, it's slow motion. And that also means that you'll do your shavasana wherever you're going now. Now, there is an option if you are going to the wall to put a block under your hips. So in that case, you try to really have your sit bones against the wall. Lift your hips, place. You don't have to do that, but it makes the inversion, you know, your hips are just a little higher compared. Yeah, good. Some people are using the pillars. Wonderful. The feet can be quite wide. Just let the toes fall out to the side. Where's my teddy bear? Where's my water bottle? I need my water bottle. I get cold. Quick. Yeah, nice yogis. Let your toes relax. Close your eyes. Socks on, yes. Blankie. Make sure you stay warm. You might also feel a tingling sensation in the toes. That's okay. If it doesn't get too bad, you can just stay. Let the toes be soft. Let the energy drain. So I think leg of the wall is one of those shapes. If you pick to do anything every day, by the end of the day, you do this one. Also, when you travel a lot, or you know, you've been in a plane, it's very good to just drain everything. Now, if you want to still do a little bit of pranayama, you can also place your right hand onto the tummy and the left hand onto the heart. And then you can feel through the touch of the palms how the belly and the chest rise on the inhale. And fall back to neutral on the exhale. And then we can use the last couple of moments in this shape for a happiness visualization. So if I ask you the question, what is your happiest places? Where are you? Are you alone? Are you with someone? There's no right or wrong, and you might not immediately find the answer. Maybe you go in your mind and your heart, you see some images of very happy places for you. What's your happiest place? Identify them. What makes you happy? Brings you closest to your soul, to your soul desire. And if there's two things, of course, it's also fine. And how can you make sure that you go to that happy place regularly to create time for it? Gift yourself that happiness, that moment of being or moment of time, of being somewhere where it makes you happy, where you feel free. And it will be probably different for everyone. Maybe you sit still. Maybe you're doing something. Do more of what makes you happy. Three more rounds of breath. Time flies when you're having fun. So you can stay here if you feel like, oh, I'm so happy here. If this is your happy place at this moment, then why would you move? Just stay. Otherwise, you can slowly bend your knees, roll onto a side. If you are close to a wall and your mat is in the other direction, then you just move your body until you can find your Shavasana shape. Here you can bring blankets in, so you basically press the wall or the pillar away. You move your head to the top of your mat and come to your full Shavasana. Yogis are calm. You've got the luxury of just being in your own space. So if you want to leave the meeting now, or you don't even need to leave it now, you can just totally ignore us and just take your time there. Stay and linger a little bit in the calm and grounded energy that you have created for yourself. I'll close the meeting and just thank you for being part of this practice. And one of the things that I realized with International Day of Yoga being here, and this practice that has been around for thousands of years, you know, over time things evolve and change. And yes, our practices look different. I'm sure they look different than how they looked thousands of years ago. But yoga is still around. It survived while the world was evolving and many, many wars and revolutions. But people kept practicing. It keeps coming back as a beautiful practice of well-being. So there must be something about it. And I feel that when we practice yoga, there's a sense of self-study, a sense of wanting to know our place in the world and wanting to contribute, change, make a difference. And that just elevates the quality and the energy on this planet. So thank you for being part of that. In that sense, every practice adds to that.
If you are in a really happy and comfortable place, stay. If you're ready to continue the rest of this beautiful day with a probably more grounded, more centered energy, recharge a bit, and start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Maybe keep your eyes closed for now, still just being with that inner world, your thoughts, your feelings, your breath, your body. And breathe slow and deep. And make those movements a little bit bigger, squeezing fists, stretching arms overhead, hug your knees into chest, it's all good. Whatever your body is asking for. Oh, we'd like to do a little yawn. Oh. And then come in your own time, in your own way, gently and slowly back up to a seated position. Cross-legged or kneeling. Fascinating how we can reset, refresh, and rejuvenate by these moments of stillness, by cultivating yin energy, being rather than doing. Interesting to achieve more by doing or by being than by doing. Close to yourself, connected to body, breath, mind, and heart and spirit. You may place the hands in front of the heart to close our practice. Extremely grateful that this is my job. I don't even want to call it a job. It's my passion to share the love for yoga. And I'm really grateful for the students, but I'm also a student of yours. I learn from every individual, from the encounters, the stories. So thank you for being here and for taking care of yourself. Have a lovely evening. Namaste. Take your time, yogis. Just gonna say goodbye. It's nice and dark in here.